play the piano.
My name is Sancho Manzano. I play the violin.
I'm Callie Hutchison, and I play the viola.
I am Toby Chadwick, and I play the cello.
We are the Sky Island Chamber Music Society. We've been around for 9 years. Sancho and I founded it. We were co-founders, and we wanted there to be a venue for chamber music versus orchestral music, which we have a beautiful symphony orchestra here, and also solo performance, which we have many venues for. We did not have a place to play like this, which is a very communal form of playing. Chamber music is written for the home. It's intended to be played in a small chamber. And so,
Which we're in right now.
Exactly, this is what it was made for. And so you depend on each other very deeply because nobody's doubling your part. So you have to really be good at what you're doing and be able to respond to each other and help each other through mistakes.
Yeah. And there's no conductor.
No conductor.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're having to keep it together with each other. So it's a lot of fun because it's a very dynamic form of playing for classical musicians. And our organization is all about finding ways for local musicians to get to play together. We typically play classical music. There's some familiar names on our repertoire. We call it a repertoire, if that's any indicator of what kind of music we're playing. We dip our toes into jazz periodically and have collaborated with some great bass players and interesting bassoon jazz we've done before. And our heroes are the Danish String Quartet. They're wonderful, and they do some folk crossover music. And so we've played some different folk arrangements based off of the work that they're doing, which they're also a phenomenal classical quartet. So we dallied in lots of different little areas, but primarily we play Brahms, Bach, Beethoven, kind of the big guns of the classical chamber repertoire. We lean pretty heavily into Baroque every now and again, and we'll do some early music for people who really want to talk genre.
I began playing the violin. It's about 12, going on 13. I've always kind of gravitated toward the instrument since I was a child. It just seemed like a gentleman's instrument whenever I saw them play. There was no hesitation that I wanted to study the violin, and it's just got so many different nuances, and I'm always discovering something every time I pick up the instrument.
I originally started on the violin at 12, 13, almost 13. And I started because I had not a single friend in middle school, and then I made one friend, and she played violin and was in orchestra, and I was like, I gotta get into this orchestra to be with my one friend. And it took a year of begging, and my mom finally, I think, felt sorry enough for me that she let me start violin lessons. I started the viola actually in graduate school, so it's really similar to the violin, so it's easy to switch back and forth. And I was at a music festival, and they're like, we need a viola. Here's a viola. Write in your fingerings. Good luck. So I picked up the viola, and I loved it, and I love playing it because it's all of the ooey gooey middle stuff, all of the harmony, and that's where the best music sits. So it's my favorite.
I started playing the piano when I was 7, and what I love about the instrument is how social it can be. It's a really versatile instrument. I can play alone, but I can also be the Christmas carol person and also accompany lots of different musicians, and I love being an accompanist. So that is what I like best about playing the piano.
I started playing the cello when I was 4.5 years old. My mom was a music teacher, so we all played the piano. Like me and my sisters, we all started on the piano, and then she started us all on an instrument. My older sisters played, one of them played violin, one played viola. And I actually started on the violin, and I immediately wanted to play the cello. so I started playing the cello very early on. What I like about the cello is it can do the highs and the lows very well. I like the overall range of the cello and the deeper sounds compared to a violin or a viola. So that's,
Hey.
I'm very biased to the cello. I think it's the best instrument. I always tell people whenever any music, any song always is better with the cello.
So any artist, living or dead, if I could collaborate with them, I'm going to pick Seiji Ozawa, even though I am not in an orchestra. Hopefully I could play with him anyway. He was the conductor of the Boston Symphony Orchestra for many, many years, legendarily so, and phenomenal. And I went to fancy band camp when I was a teenager. I just realized I have collaborated with him because he conducted the audience. He taught us a round. And we got to sing this Alleluia round together. But he recently passed away, leaving behind a storied career. He's worked with every great. He's beloved by many. And I feel like he was also a teacher in his core. And so, if nothing else, he would teach me how to do all of this a lot better.
If I had to choose, I have many musicians, alive or dead, I'd like to collaborate with. I would have to say the cellist Jacqueline Dupre. Just because of her just amazing energy. I don't know, there's not a proper adjective I can give to what she brought to the musical community and the cello repertoire in particular.
If I had to choose a composer, it would be Schubert, just because I know his string quartets are like my favorite. And then I would also collaborate with, I'm just fangirling right now, but growing up, my favorite violinist was always Nadja Salerno Sonnenberg. So I kind of worship her. And the other musician that I just worship is Dolly Parton. So I would give my first child to be able to collaborate with Dolly Parton. I don't actually have children, but
If I could collaborate with anyone, living or dead, it's a hard question because I'm a different person than most of these guys, honestly.
After all that cello.
I'll give three answers. I'll give three answers. Yo-Yo Ma, because he's probably the most famous cellist that most people know about.
Solid choice.
From a classical perspective, it'd be just fun to collaborate with him. The Piano Guys, they're very famous. If anyone's heard of the Piano Guys.
Keep it as hip, Toby.
I want to take over for the cellist that's in the Piano Guys once he can't play good enough anymore, or I'll continue on their thing. And then last of all, and don't make fun of me, I have a lot of girls, and my girls would kill me if I didn't say this, but Taylor Swift.
obviously.
Swiftie.
I think there's
So-
no wrong answer as long as you don't say Nickelback.
Oh, I don't like Nickelback.
We have a concert coming up on March 1st. We're going to be playing at the United Methodist Church on St. Andrews. The concert starts at 6:30. We selected the program based on, first of all, a love for Brahms. This is a piece that he wrote for Clara Schumann. It has this great opening Clara theme that you're not going to hear here, so you're going to have to come to the show. And he loved her forever and always, and there's a really interesting story there that you'll probably hear about at our show. And this is a piece about being in love with the piano. So I was also sort of biased because I got to pick this piece. And it emphasizes the range, the depth of emotion, the many facets of this gorgeous instrument. And so that led to choosing some other pieces of music that are in love with sound. And so we picked this Arvo Part piece that is in love with the cello. I get to be an accompanist there, my favorite job. And it is beautiful, sonorous, meditative music, and it feels very different emotionally. This is passionate and dramatic, and that's passionate and dramatic in this very staid way. And the piece of music that Callie's friend is letting us premiere in Arizona is a also very contemplative piece, but in love with the sound of the quartet. How do these instruments sound together? How do they blend, develop, enrich one another? And that framework seemed to bind all of these pieces of music that are about what we're about, which is loving to play together, loving how sound moves and how you can respond, and the artistry that's involved in community. And so that's the framework of our program, and we hope we can execute it well.